Hello, welcome back to Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations. Good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Maggie. So, what do you think is going to happen today, sir? Yesterday's session didn't go so well and ended on a giant mystery. That's true. And we still haven't solved a single part of it yet. Are you okay? Yeah, of course. I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes. No, that wasn't doubt. That was, determination. Why don't I believe you? It's nearly time, Maggie. You better get going to the defendant's seat. Roger, don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you. Hey, pal. Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Quit stressing Maggie out. She doesn't need that. How did you know she was stressed? I was watching through the doorway. Oh, you look like you lost the case already. Show a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Here, maybe this one. Huh? Have you taken up aromatherapy too? Not in a million years. Well, don't tell me that you don't remember this thing. Come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. This is the small bottle that turned up in Trey Dan's kitchen a couple of days ago. We finally got the analysis results back from the lab. So, what is it? Is it the poison? I'm afraid not, pal. It's medication. Medication? Yeah, for ears. Talk for use only, apparently. For ears? You mean... Yeah, it's the medication Glenn was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glenn ear medicine doing in the kitchen? What about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? Someone screwed up, so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Another hour, and they might have gotten something on the prints, but... It's going to weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today. Got it? Today's trial. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done. My name isn't Phoenix Wright. It's Phoenix Wrong. He's Phoenix Wrong. Because he's not me. Phoenix Wrong. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Beard. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Ready and waiting as always, Your Honor. Very good. Then we'll get underway at once. Yesterday we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. Claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank from it with his right hand. According to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left. Thank you, Mr. Gordon. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, the victim was listening to the earpiece in his left ear. Yet, the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf. It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have. Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world keeps turning, and we must turn with it. You've lost me already, Mr. Godot. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You've got to change with times. That's one of my rules. Are you implying that you resolve these contradictions? You know the answers to these riddles. The old guy wasn't just throwing seed. Throwing us off the scent. And today I'll prove it. Very well. Let the first witness take the stand. Oh, and you are? Oh, bonjour everyone. I am Gene Armstrong, the owner and good chef of La Turbian restaurant on Tante. Forgive me for asking you this, but are you a woman? Ooh la la, monsieur. As you can see, I am that perky gentleman, right? On the day of the incident, you were in Travian's kitchen. Isn't that right? With you, monsieur. Everything feels right. Ha! That one, he's totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy? Very well. Your testimony, please, witness. Please tell the court what happened that day at Tribune. We, volunteers. At Tribune. When it all happened, there was just 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new art decor that day, like having a large mirror between the tables, for example. Perhaps that's it, what the old man was looking at. The cup, the earpiece, and the glasses. We would have seen everything in reverse, no? Mirror. On grand mirror, an almost enormous mirror. Suddenly, the mystery disappears. Like I said, the world keeps turning, so roll with it. That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would I don't know if I can do a very good judge voice. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front. What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me. I can't voice old people that good. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Alright. How come I never heard about that before today? You were not familiar with the language of interior design. Please stay on topic. Now, why didn't you tell the court about this before? But I did, just a few moments ago. Excuse me, Mr. Armstrong. This decoration. Are you referring to some sort of decoction? No, Art Deco. It is a style of design, Your Honor. He's talking about interior design, walls, ceilings, carpets, that kind of thing. Yes, of course, that. I was trying to achieve a more feminine look for my restaurant. I was planning the most bold remodeling of Art Deco. How big of a mirror are we talking about here? Oh, something about 4 meters wide and... about 2 meters high. Let's see, 1 meter is about 1 yard. Holy class, I'm afraid. That's huge. I was intending to install it on the ceiling eventually. The ceiling? Is there a mirror on the ceiling? No, but I decided not to go through with it in the end. What should I do? Should I ask him more about the mirror? No. Much harder. If you really had such a large mirror in the restaurant, someone would have noticed it. But there's nothing about a mirror in Mr. Kudo or Maggie Beard's testimonies. But... Objection! You didn't ask, right? You have only yourself to blame for such sloppy work. What? A mirror was delivered to Tribune the day before the incident. Really? As Mr. Armstrong testified, he was carrying out some design changes. And as it turned out, he didn't actually use the mirror in the end. This just doesn't add up. Even if a mirror was delivered to Tribune, it doesn't prove that it was in the restaurant on the day of the crime. Ha! If you want to doubt someone, try to look in the mirror. I'm sure the person looking back at you will be dubious enough. So the witness yesterday has seen the victim reflected in the mirror. Everything? He would have seen everything in reverse. Hey, Nick, we should take a second to think about what old Stevie said in his testimony. How did he phrase it again? He saw everything he described reflected in the mirror. But everything he said he saw on the left was actually on the right. That clears up all the problems with his testimony, I guess. Doesn't it? Ha! It's kind of hard to believe everything's the fault of a mirror, but Do you think OCD saw everything through a reflection? If he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony. But that just makes the situation worse for Maggie. There's gotta be something in that old man's testimony. You just gotta dig deeper. Okay. No. So he did give us this. We probably have to use something. Normally, I'd expect people to know the difference between a reflection and a real object.
Objection!
Normally, how does normality come into this? That's way trade even for you. Huh. Are you trying to say that if something isn't normal, it isn't possible? Is that it? How does that weaken the pork-haired lawyer and the top-notch chick over there? And the ungodly cool guy with the mask over here? Well, Trey. Not the hair. I do not have a top knot. Mr. Godot is correct. The lack of normality is no basis for discounting. Bien, logic has one living. And who were the two customers exactly? But, of course, the young man who died, and no other not so young man. You're referring to yesterday's witness, I presume. What about the other man Maggie said she saw at the table? Something tells me Mr. Armstrong isn't planning to disclose his existence. We need some hard evidence first before we can bring him up. I guess I'll just have to try a different approach for the time being. What do I have? I need to know that first. There is no mirror. Floor plans. Crime photo. Okay. Floor plans.
Objection!
He was sitting right there. So no, there's no mirror.
Objection!
Left eye and left eardrum. So it's the character profile, not a floor plans or a crime photo. because the character profile is like that.
Objection!
What? The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in a mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. Exactamente. You see, monsieur, now that you think about it, it is not so hard, no? Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? Order! Order! Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we would expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over his right eye.
Objection!
How bitter. Troy, you should have had a taste of this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time. Are we talking about your coffee or something completely different? You don't understand the way the witness thinks, how he thinks. You remember this, I presume. I broke today's sorry apology. I mean, Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony? Exactly. The old man has one very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression someone makes, the more muddled his mind makes. And what's the most striking thing about Mr. L? Clearly, it's the victim's eyepiece. And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. L's HMD made a big impression on the old man. I saw the earpiece. Oh yeah, it's both on his left ear. His left ear. Well, Trey. That's the worst but best impression of Kudo ever. Well, I really thought he was old seedy for a minute there. Kudo's good. Enough. I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony. Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of a contradiction you found is just a rash. A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court. We're all ears. Oui, I can explain. Please, if you will look at the plans of the restaurant. Mirror. Or is everyone sitting comfortably? The mirror. It was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two rooms. There was only one seat from which you could have seen an image of the victim. That was the seat at the table next to the victim's. That was where the old man was sitting. After that terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else. I see no problems with the explanation we have just heard. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror. What a naughty little coquette I am, confusing all the men like this. Don't worry about it. We can keep up, except for the guy breaking out in a cold sweat over there again. I hate that guy. You didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that? Volunteers, of course. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please. So, run this by me again. The mirror was here, correct? We, really? Because I know if I were you, I wouldn't have put a mirror there. It would be in the way.
Objection!
Look who's talking, Trey. Huh? You're obstructing my view, among other things. But, this is my seat in the courtroom. Tribulations' charm is that it gives you the impression that you're the only customer. Temporarily placing a mirror in that spot would hardly be in the way. Unlike you, Trey, I tell you, Monsieur, the mirror was there in the middle of the restaurant.
Hold it!
And where would that be? Ooh la la, look how you lean towards me. I always attract the younger boys. Maybe I should keep you in suspense a little longer. Mr. Armstrong, tell the court what you know at once. I attract the older ones too, you know, and so shall I tease you too? I'm already seeing a very hot someone, so I'm afraid we'll be waiting for a long time. I bet she has mocha cream skin and cappuccino perfume. Good, I will tell you. There was only one seat from which you could have seen.
Hold it!
So why can you always select the victim from that particular seat? As Monsieur, it is obvious to one. If you look it up then, you will understand. The victim would have reflected in the mirror next door. If you were sitting at the table next to him, you would see everything, you know? So that's the seat old Psyche was sitting in on that day. When the poisoning happened. The old man was sitting at the table next to the victim. Why does that seem kind of odd? After the terrible incident.
Hold it!
Did you move the mirror while Mr. Kudo was off calling the police? Oui, exactement. I carried it out of the restaurant. You moved a huge mirror like that all by yourself. What can I say? I know how to pick things up, Edison. Kudo actually laughed at something. Well, given the witnesses, I suppose it is possible to remove anything else from the crime scene, Mr. Armstrong. I'll collect the alleged type of money. Sure about that? I touched nothing except the mirror. Mr. Wright, is there something the witnesses said that doesn't match the crime scene? Yeah, there is. I just can't put my finger on what exactly. Huh, suffering from a case of heartburn. Oh, I have just listened for an oil with golden mirror and frankincense. Add a few drops to your coffee and voila. Focus units with any sort of those two and just find some evidence. It's pretty strange, though, isn't it? I mean, nobody mentioned anything about a really large mirror. You'd think someone would have, but maybe didn't, and neither did old Steve. And the only logical explanation is that there was no mirror inside Tribulations. Oh, I just got to prove it somehow.
Objection!
Your Honor, Mr. Kudo's words yesterday strongly contradict Mr. Armstrong's testimony. It says, the letter of apology that was written by Mr. Kudo, is it not? I realize it looks useless, Your Honor, but this is still testimony. Ha! I guess useless people are only really good at identifying useless things. What relevance does this scrap of paper have to the trial, Mr. Wright? Mr. Kudo's testimony is actually very relevant to the question at hand, Your Honor, because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. go back to here now. Weird. That's one thing you can do.
Objection!
Photo here. Also, this piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we have heard, Your Honor. The crime photo? Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Should not exist? Huh. Sounds like you're describing yourself, Trey. Now, if the defense would please clarify its statement. What is the something that should not exist in this photo?
Take that!
I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not be in the picture. Base, possible connection is that happened with this test. I'm telling you that there should have been no base on this table. Because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence.
Take that!
There's one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. That's true. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yeah, as the court can see, there's an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all.
Objection!
Don't be an idiot, Wright. That's impossible. You see, it's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from. Exactly. There is only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Tribulations that day. The testimony of Mr. Armstrong is an elaborate lie.
Objection!
Don't try to confuse the whole court, Trey. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase, while the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene.
Objection!
Unfortunately, Mr. Godot, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary, in his own words. I did not touch anything else except the mirror. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have a mirror in the same mirror in which he couldn't hear? Huh. You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, Trey, that this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, then I'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Are you going to be okay? You really saw this contradiction? There's more than just this one contradiction, Mom. What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. Oh man, he really wants to be right though. No, he did not make a mistake. The victim was a dummy. Should be that then. This case is riddled with contradictions. Yet, there's only one very simple answer that clears them all. And what is that? The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed, and an incident the victim experienced. Were two completely different events. What? Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Cornell. He was an imposter, a phony pretending to be Mr. L. I doubt that. Obviously, I'm not doing it. There was nothing wrong with the imposter reflecting. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. Order in the court. Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom. Quiet, Grimms. Why don't you clear out of here, huh? What did you say? Trey, are you saying that what Mr. Kudo saw was deception? Yes. Someone pretended to be one element and acted out of the whole coffee place. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo.
Objection!
Get real, Trey. Why would anyone do that? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his testimony. It's so hard to believe, but there was one, and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo his fake poison. To show Maggie Beard in the act of poisoning the coffee.
Objection!
Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's store was fake as well? It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but it's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening. That's right. Well witnessed. The restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics. He would have known about it, correct? Oh la la, this is most difficult for me.
Objection!
No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath after all. Was there, in fact, before me at Tribulations? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened. The defense's request for additional testimony is accepted. He will accurately explain in detail the events in the restaurant that day. Oh, in the restaurant. The victim, Monsieur Ellie, who came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after that. There were no other customers. When he got to work, he won the lottery. Became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. There was no time for a phony to. Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all. There was to me, pardon, forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly. What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I will decide how to punish you later. For now, we will hear a cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please. He took that perjury charge a bit too well. But I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. I'm gonna save. I have a little reason. I'm low on health. Also, so Gene, there's a weird thing about Gene. There's a super annoying achievement that you can get with him called Gene's Foreign Language Course, where you have to go and talk to him a bunch throughout the whole case. When you see him in the restaurant, you present him a bunch of things, and you also have to examine him here, question him. Yeah, I don't know how many you have to do, it's a lot. So, you probably, I don't know if you can do them all in one playthrough, or if you can do them in second playthroughs, everything. But you have to get every single one of these words. And I think it's the hardest achievement in the whole thing. Super annoying achievement. Let's see if I can get it.
Hold it!
Is he alone at his table as well? But as I saw him from the kitchen. Yet the defendant, his spirit, remembers it differently. He swears there was another man at the victim's table.
Objection!
Unfortunately for you, Trey, yesterday's witness also testified that the victim is a woman. You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite. What kind of coffee has he been drinking? It's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet. Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. I remember. By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct? Oui, he comes often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. Special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience. Oh, you make me so happy, Monsieur. You are most welcome anytime. I said it was worth one sip, and nothing more. So old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. How many minutes after? So you're saying that not much time will elapse between the victim and Mr. Kudo arrives? Oui, that is correct. But that still leaves the possibility that something happened in that capital. By your recollection, how much time would you say elapsed? Let me see. Approximately 2 minutes, I would say. 2 minutes? That's all? It seems unlikely that anything untoward could have happened in such a short time. Rats, I knew I shouldn't have pursued this line of questioning.
Hold it!
What time was it? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? Oh, no, I cannot remember once you... I believe we were told by a witness yesterday. Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness? The incident happened about 20 minutes after they arrived. So the victim must have arrived between 2 o'clock p.m. and 2:10 p.m. No? Just after 2, huh? Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, Monsieur. You were wonderful. I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? Time of day will be added to the witness's testimony. Oui, Monsieur Judge, everything I do it for you. Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood. He's even humming a song to himself. Ah. Just after 2 p.m.
Hold it!
Are you absolutely sure about the time? When I think really early, I am sure it was just after 2 p.m. It is the time I stopped serving my lunch. Quite right. I always break for lunch when the restaurants are serving their specials. I've been known to wind up the case early just to make it on time. I guess you should never get between a hungry judge and his lunch. Oh, will you look at that? It's almost lunchtime already. Witness, get on with your testimony, please.
Hold it!
So your only customers were Mr. Kudo and...
Objection!
I don't think I have to press him here. How many times do you need to ask the same thing, Fred? You never catch me drinking the same wine twice. Oh, you're trying to establish the presence of a phony victim in your restaurant. So you're wasting your time. You can't grind birdseed to make coffee if you catch my drift. But there's a hole in this testimony somewhere, I'm sure.
Hold it!
Did you see him? No, I was in the kitchen, but I remember him shouting, "Yes, a million bucks!" Presumably the defendant heard that too, then, Meg? She looked like a poor little frightened dove. And what about Mr. Kudo? That old man choked on some bird seeds that stuck in his throat. Seems we now have yet another incident on our hands.
Hold it!
And what were you doing at that point? Without any customers, you must have had time. I'm a multi-talented woman, monsieur. Sorry, what do you mean? There is one known chef, Jane Armstrong, and the tragic poet, Clarice Armstrong. Clarice? Oui, I was writing a poem, an angry tale of a chef and $500,000 in debt, cooking for a man who won $500,000 in London. It is called Pourquoi? It means why. Perhaps I could recite it for a record. Please don't. You mean you contacted the police as soon as the incident occurred? I asked the old man to call it up and not pay for it. By your own argument, right? The purpose of this phony victim's performance was so the old man would see it. In other words, once the incident occurred, this opportunity would completely disappear. Indeed. Good. It seems thus that it worked out. Mrs. I guess Mr. Armstrong is connected to this case, huh? Absolutely. Someone's impersonating Mr. L. I refuse to believe he was a witness. He was there the whole time, after all. But if you're right, didn't Maggie have noticed too? She fell unconscious when the incident occurred. You mean that's when the phony stage is in? We'll know for sure once I find a hole in this testimony. Lottery.
Objection!
Oh, this is the wrong one. It's actually this.
Objection!
I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. What do you mean? At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers of the $500,000 lottery ticket. That must be the show Monel was listening to. I can't see any problem with his testimony, Mr. Wright. I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? I'm sure of it. I remember it perfectly well. I know it was that time, because I had just finished serving my lunch. Get to the point, Wright. Yeah, well. That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m., and it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. It's on the air at 1:30. Yeah, supposedly the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier than that point in time. No one. The victim, as we've been told about, has nothing but done nothing but done possible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. This victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glen Elgs in Tribulations that day. The real Glen Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer, and the phony Glen Elg, acting out the events for Mr. Crudo to witness. Insurgent seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how can you explain the time discrepancy?
Objection!
Play performance straight, you were almost on the roll. But sadly, you lacked the rock-hard foundation of rhythm for your song. What is this? Music Theory 101? Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's not just that. Phony Elk is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Crudo. How do you explain that for the real Glen Elk is? I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at that time, the real Glen Elk was already dead. It's certainly the obvious conclusion.
Objection!
Thank you, Trey. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. What? Now, I presume you can prove this theory. Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? The missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer here. But that customer was the phony Glen Elk. Then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body? Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, Trey. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body is hidden. Evidence? What's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden? I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he's turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead. Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory of evidence. First, where was the body of Mr. Elkins? Yeah. It was inside. It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Tribulations. Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you would care to show the court on this point. Yes, Your Honor. That location where the body was inside Tribulations was kitchen.
Take that!
The body was hidden here. I see. Nice supposition. The real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location? It's that green bottle.
Take that!
Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? None. I've never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. It's the ideas quality only for me. Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright? Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Tribulations. But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication. What kind of medication? I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? And Mr. L visited a hotel-wearing neurological clinic and was given medication that day. can't be serious. The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. The contents of the bottle that matched the prescription that was given to Mr. L. Blood hid the body in the restaurant in the kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the coffee. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen? One did. You know what I'm about to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, and you. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. No, Order. This is an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Glenhill? Never. I could not do such an horrible thing. Hold on. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules. If you have the slightest idea how many coffee cups you've had right now, then I like to do the same to the person who's lying. I like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear, my age-deficient friend? Chef must demand pardon. Please, you must hear me out. It is a trap. Listen to me. Por favor. Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor in Spanish. I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it? None. Absolutely none. I simply... Let's hear it. You got one shot. Right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Bilbow's coffee mug awaits you, as does my gavel. It is clear. What do they always say in the movies? I've got a bad feeling about this. They say that in Star Wars. Very well, begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong. The confession. It is true. I had nobody in the kitchen. The man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me. You were forced? By who? I cannot say, or I will be erased. Let's try a different question now. When Mr. Elk died, was he really the only person at his table? There was another man. I knew it. Maggie was telling the truth. You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright. There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer. What reason would that be, Mr. Armstrong? You know, Monsieur, surely you cannot expect a young maiden to talk about such an embarrassment. Maiden, you're a bit old to get away with that. And a bit too male. Can't finish the cross-examination without establishing his reason. So I'll just have to prove it with evidence. What man? Who was it? None. I cannot say. I fear for my life. He's really scared. We'll just have to put the words in his mouth. Yeah, you're right. If you won't tell me, I'll tell him. But why would you go along with this man?
Objection!
You have $500,000 debt, don't you? $500,000. Is this true, Mr. Armstrong? Oui, je suis tout seul. I was weak and I borrowed the money. This is Mr. Armstrong's Achilles heel. And that's why he couldn't refuse anything asked of you by this man.
Take that!
$500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you. Queen, it is as you say, Mr. Armstrong. Now, Tiger, he told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting the victim to demand that you pay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to do. I had no choice. I carried the body and the unconscious Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I had seen. I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre. I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. Poison in the water taken out of fountain from the zebra pocket. Was that you were doing as well? None. I knew nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it. I was not. It is despicable. Mr. Godot, you will summon this Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow. 30 minutes. What? The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. Not a minute. How? Don't sit back and relax yet, Trey. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way. Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We will resume once Mr. Tigre is ready. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess. I didn't get it. I probably have to do it all in one playthrough. I'm gonna do that. Okay, I got the achievement. I just have to get one more word back at this part. So, you have to show wrong evidence when you interrogate him. When you do a Psyche-Lock. And then he says more words. You can't get the right answer right away. You actually have to show wrong answers on purpose to get the rest of the words. So there. I did it. There we go. Bye. There it is, the rarest achievement in the whole thing.